8:16 here. We're going to give you a live look at the Dow, dropping more than 1,900 points in the last 2 days.
Well, look at today. We like to give you the sunny side of things, too. How about
that was the past. This is the present. So embrace it. We're in the green this morning. And we're talking about how to tackle uncomfortable conversations about money with your significant other, with your parents, friends, and family, and with yourself.
So Trevor Wilde is with Wilde Wealth Management Group. Trevor, thank you for being with us this morning.
Morning,
so
Trevor.
I think the first thing we should talk about, though, is what's happened over the last, I guess, 2 days plus what's going on here. It's a real roller coaster ride, right?
Absolutely.
And what are some of the reactions you've seen from people?
Well, you know, obviously when you have days like this where the Dow's dropping, and markets are dropping 1,000 points, roughly 7% over the last 2 days, negative, the initial reaction is a little bit of fear and panic, you know, and certainly when you look at markets, it's the last 2 days and the elevation of the drop, there's some of that going on right now. A lot of people are concerned, and not to underscore the concern of the coronavirus, but the immediate reaction is certainly we're seeing a lot of fear and panic trading here in the short run.
But people shouldn't freak out, right? Unless you sold stock over the last 2 days, you really haven't lost any money. It's just all paper stuff.
Yeah, and history shows us these things are normal. You know, when we look back historically at Ebola or Zika, these other things that have occurred historically, in fact, the last two that have occurred in 2018 and 2016, the markets dropped within the first month about 6 to 7%. Now, it's different because this has been so quick within 2 days. But the reality is, if you're panicking, you need to take a breath, maybe turn off the TV, take a walk, and
don't get crazy with turning off the TV, Trevor.
Don't turn off Fox 10, but every other station is okay. But you bring up a good point, because I think in the last 2 days we saw those huge drops, and then today we see green. And when you're watching these markets, it can feel a little bit like you're an emotional roller coaster.
Absolutely.
So let's tackle this in terms of conversations with maybe somebody you're dating, and you're at dinner and your finances come up and the stock market. What type of things or tips can you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely. And a great period of time because you're courting, you're loving, enjoying life. But it's difficult, you know, and way too many people avoid the subject of finances and don't talk about it.
Right.
And the reality is, it is something that needs to be discussed. In that situation, it needs to be an open conversation on what are some of the financial goals as a couple. If we're in that kind of relationship, you know, do they match? And there's nothing worse than finding out after maybe something like getting married that your significant other or your now spouse is buried in debt. Those conversations need to be had and discussed in advance for sure.
And get that out. And then now on the kind of the other side of things, I think a lot of people now are having parents who are getting older. So that, I mean, it's weird to walk up to your, say, your aging mother or father and saying, hey, what's your estate look like? What's going on? How do you have those types of conversations?
Yeah, well, and again, it's difficult because there's a parent and child relationship, but the reality is, again, it needs to happen. You know, one of the things that we've focused on in our firm is bringing on estate planning attorneys and partners to help foster that relationship and that conversation. But again, it's not unlike the previous situation. It just has to be discussed, you know, and sometimes finding a professional that can help you talk through it. It can be advantageous, kind of the scapegoat, if you will. Hey, I met with so-and-so.
Yeah, Trevor's the bad guy. Now, Mom, I didn't want to ask you about this stuff, but Trevor here is telling me I need to.
Yeah,
thanks, Trevor, for coming on.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. How do people get a hold of you?
WildWealthManagement.com, and you can Google us and look us up, and we're available to help however we can.
It's Wild with an E on the end.
WILDE, yes, thank you.
Thank you, you're really good. We'll have you back.
Thank you very much,
Trevor.
I appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.